look who's back in the garage. Gotta fire it up. So this guy still does not have an idle circuit in it. It seems like it's not responding at on the bottom end, but if you rev it up, you can hear that cylinder kicks in. So I looked into carburetor kits for this, and this one is a bit of a bastard bike carb wise, and the kits are 60 bucks a piece. So that's $120 in carburetor kits. I paid 150 bucks for the bike, so I'm having a hard time justifying buying them. But if everything else works out okay and all I need is those kits, I will probably break down and buy them. But having said that, I'm probably going to go take that carburetor apart one more time and give it a clean. I did do some shopping for it. I went to something called Risorama. It is a Jap flea market, bike show, fun time, go ride your mini bikes around the track. Didn't film any of that, unfortunately, but I did do some shopping. We got new used front and rear tires for it. A similar tread. And then no dry rotting or cracking compared to the ones that are on there. And I went and got some new brake levers. Here they are. Something else came in for it too, I forget what it was. I ordered something else. And while I was at that same swap meet, I figure I'll show it now, was this bucket for $5, and it contained a bunch of mirrors, bunch of carburetors. I think it was like probably 8-10 mirrors, maybe a dozen carburetors, and down below, dig a hole, is a bunch of levers. Of course, I bought the levers already, but I was missing one of the adjusting cams for the front brake lever, and that is in here. So for $5, everything else was free because that one piece was going to cost me $5. One of these guys. One of those guys I'm missing. So there's that shopping. So let me probably go yank that carb off and see what's happening. So I got that one carburetor off and apart. There's the guts of it, and then the body is soaking again in the cleaner. And I figured I'd just do like a nice sit-down job, and I'd like to probably fix that muffler, that hole that's in there. And if I get that muffler out of our way while we service the back tire. So I figured I'd take that off. We'll start with a nice little simple job. That's, if I say it's simple, it's gonna bite me in the ass. Get that off of there, see if we can kind of clean up the metal around the inside and make a patch for that. See if we can get that tacked in. Kind of like how a doctor feels when he's trying to operate inside a cavity. Well, the idea was to have the thought of being able to get that down in there, down there, and clean up those edges. But that down in there is not going to happen. But I got a little rag doll down in there, using for my pattern. Now, if the metal would just tuck in there just as nice and neatly as that piece of paper did, it would be a breeze. But it's not. So I'm going to go make, probably take a Sharpie, mark where that is. I could shrink that down a lot more too, but I figure I'm going to go for half of it for now. And I'll hit it with a Sharpie, and I'll just make sure I get those areas clean so I can kind of weld to them. Then I figure I can kind of weld to the inside of the pipe and the outer edge of that wall. And even if it leaks, it's not that big of a deal. It's the muffler, it's just the exhaust coming out the end of the muffler. I just want to cut down on the major part of the noise that this one's putting out compared to the other one. So that's my plan. So I need one of them out of one of them, and that's how it's going to go down. And then I'll come back with the second device. I'll come back with a flapper disc, just knocking the the nudges off. Probably want to be on the inside of that line too, rather than the outside, because your pattern grows every time you transfer from one to the other. So I will spare you the noise. You didn't escape all the noise. as the grinder slows down. So I was able to get the whole muffler in the sandblast cabinet, and I got a pretty good cleaning of certs going on, and then that will be our patch. But we somehow have to get down inside there. So I'm kind of thinking of trying to get it in like a like you do when you're threading your car keys on a car ring. I'm gonna try working it, you know, down and around. And if not, we're gonna go whittle or just hammer the bejesus out of it, and then hammer the bejesus back flat again once we get it down inside there. So, what do you think? Give it an attempt. Huh? Who's your daddy? Never use a screwdriver as a pry bar or a clamp. Never hammer upon the screwdriver. That's good to me. Want to see? Now we just gotta make it all in one. Said it wouldn't go in there. So I don't know how well this is gonna work, but we'll give it a shot. What I'm trying to do, the nozzle will not fit down all the way, and generally you want about be about a quarter to a half inch away from your well puddle. I am about 1.5 inches away, and I'm trying to tack it to that back wall, which I've already got some kind of going. So I got my purge gas, my inert gas, kind of cranked up and doing like 45, because I'm trying to flood this category, this cavity inside here with the gas, because the less oxygen that's in there, the better it will weld. So as I go, it actually should probably get a little bit better, but see if I can film and tack at the same time. You guys get the idea? So you see how it's kind of real globby going in there, but once you get it working in an area, then it starts to soak in, and I can keep going. So I'm gonna go buzz that out with 2 hands and see how we do. That's it. She ain't purty, but she's inside a muffler. And at least it should be good enough to keep the noise coming out the center. That's all. Alright, I'm walking away. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna hear the responses from that. Okay, yes, I can take the nozzle off, and it makes a smaller appendage, and you can kind of get down in between there. That piece comes off, and you have the center diameter, which is probably 3/8 inch, something like that. I wanted to try it like that. I wanted to see if I could leave it on there and kind of support from both sides of it and how it would do, and it seemed to do okay for its purpose. Also, flux core, I could just use my flux core welder, which does not run the tip at all and has flux in the center of the wire. And as you go, it creates its own shielding gas from when it's burning it up in the little fire puddle there. So anyway, just want to throw that in. It's just how I wanted to try it. I wanted to see how it works. So there. We'll jump on the back of the bike because that's the direction it's pointing. I want to take that chain and soak it in oil. So I want to take it right off and just like submerge it. That's our, let's see how well this is going to want to decide to play with us. It's the kind of thing that you shoot across the garage too. And you're putting that clip on usually. Stab myself on the hand. Okay, so now you've been there. Yeah, it needs a good internal soaking. You can see the insides of the pins, how rusty they are. So I'm not sure. I might do automatic transmission fluid. You want a thin oil to get in there. So I took it and I ran down all four sides with the wire wheel and just knocked off all the heavy stuff. You can see it's more of a shiny kind of deal. And then we're just going for, yeah, use motor oil. Look at it. It's free. Wheels off. Let's see what we got for brakes together. The meat looks good on them. Drum can use some sanding. Doesn't feel bad though. I have to pinch with the other one. Smooth. Good. Doctor's orders. Yeah, they're fine. So sand that up. We gotta get this tire off of here and see what the inside looks like. Not good for the road. Well, I saved you a bunch of listening to grunting getting the wheel off, but the wheel's off. Tire's off. Looks okay. I don't see anything other than age. I should have spun it on the bike and got a good look, make sure it was true. If not, I can tweak the spokes a little bit now. I think I want to try to clean the wheel up before I put a tire on it. Maybe we'll just do a little of that. And we'll do the same in here. I'll run the wire wheel around and clean up some of this crap. It's got a little bump on that side, probably bottomed out at one point. I want to watch if it's just the lip or if it's the lip and the whole thing. The whole thing's still in it. So, oh yeah. Hey, tweak it there a little bit. It's not bad though. Probably could use the stand for cleaning it. Not too bad. Not that it was bad before, neither, but tried to tweak it whatever I could. So I figured I'd wrap it up tonight because I have the chain hanging and letting it dry. And I said if I stay out here any longer, I'm going to walk into that. So I grabbed the camera and I walked back from the bike to go turn the camera on and walk right into it. So I already got that out of the way, I guess. So back wheel's cleaned up, put on, inflated, and who says you can't get a tubeless tire on a tubed rim? It's just very tight. they want to hug right to the very edge of the rim. So it kind of has to pop on like a regular tubeless tire does. So should be good to go. Let the train again, the chain dry overnight. Dry, drip, and I'll just wipe it down with a rag. First time I take it out on the first time I fire up the bike and spin the back wheel, it'll eject what it needs to eject and re-oil it. That's it. I just kind of washed down everything. I didn't, polish anything, but I just want to get all the crud off of it. I want to leave the bike, I think, the way it is. I'm not going to paint anything black out again. I could always do it later, but for right now, I'm just going to clean it and put it back together and leave whatever wear is on it. Of course, hardware and stuff will get cleaned up with the wire wheel, but essentially, I'm not going to do anything too much. I kind of like it that way. I like them. It's original, and just this being a bike is no different. It's still has all its original paint and everything on it, so I think it's kind of cool to leave it with its life history. Not that there's much on this. It's really not that beat up, but once it's gets oiled down and you see the the pits and stuff, that's fine. The old label where the label was. I'll still wash like that crap off. Get it clean. I'll get it clean and then I'll let it dirty itself, and then we're good to go. So the front wheel is next, but we'll spin the bike around on that. Actually, what's next is the carburetor. I'm gonna let it soak overnight. Nothing should hurt. Looks like it's taking all the dirt out of the. Taking the dirt off the exterior. Little cubby holes, and hopefully it can get to. I'm getting there. That all the way to your right. That last hole to your right. See the brass screw stuck down inside there? That's the jet, and I believe that is an idle circuit. Well, that doesn't have an idle circuit, and that jet does not want to come out of there. So I'm trying to do my best while it's in there to clean and purge and blow air through and see how we make out one more time. Unfortunately, if it's seized in there, they're not that easy to remove like a bolt. It's a jet. It's got on the other end of it there's a fine taper, and you can't be hammering that into there, and that pin is usually run almost all the way up inside there, so you come behind it with a drill, you kind of push it even further in, like there's no way to grab it. So anyway, that's where I am. Let her cook overnight. So I think I'm going to be wrapping this up here. I think. I always say that, and then the video continues, so maybe not. But anyway, again, thanks everybody for watching, comment, subscribing. See you later. So yeah, soaked that carb overnight. Yeah, apparently it's the next morning, and it is fairly clean. And that I was moving forward, was trying to get that one jet that was in there out, and I did. And if you notice, there's no threads on it. Although it has a setup to put a screwdriver on the tip, you actually tap it out from the other side. So I did get a screwdriver on it, and I did get it to turn, but it was never rising up out of the hole. So I put some pressure on it with a brass rod in the vise, and just kind of pushed down on the whole assembly while I was turning it. Then I found that it was just pressed in. So I took that out, and I looked at the holes, and the holes were clean. Whether the cleaning solution helped clean them or they were always clean, I don't know. But that's as far down as I want to disassemble this carburetor and be able to blow those passages out. So I think we can reassemble this guy and put it back on and see if this recovers its idle circuit and we become a happy bike again. Something else I was going to include in this also. Oh, the floats. That's one of the sealed up floats that I hit with solder. And it seems to be maintaining. It's been soaking for a week or two in fuel. Doesn't seem like it's allowing any to go in, so I think that should be okay also. And we do have another one yet still that is soldered that we can replace it with. And new ones are 14 bucks. So again, in the future, these carbs are nice and easy to work on. You could actually just take them and loosen them up and kind of turn them to the side and pull the bowl off and do whatever you want. So access on these is not that big of a deal. And the chain's on. all put back together. It's going to need a little bit of running to go let that kind of work into the nuggets, but I think that should be okay. The sprockets look like they're fine. You want to look at the very tips of the sprockets, and they should be flat going across. If these guys are worn to a point or worn on an angle, then you know you're shot. But both of those seem like they are just fine. So, well, the carb's back on. I say we go give it a whirl and see if it'll run on both cylinders. Don't know if I need choke or not. See what happens. Nothing. My overflow is leaking. Choke off. Running on both sides. Yeah, I gotta let it warm up and tweak the air fuel mix and see what happens. Now it's running on both, idling pretty good. Exhaust is quiet on this side. There's some leaking going on between these two. So I get a little bit of puff back, but so gotta tweak it again once I get the air cleaners on, but I think that's pretty much got it. We'll let it sit and see how it starts back up when it's cold. They're way out of sync from each other. I ended up having way too much on this one and not enough on the other one, but this one was the one that didn't have the idle circuit, so it was probably cranked up more to try to make it play with the other before. So it should be good. I'm gonna let it cycle a couple times to draw some of the moisture out of the case. Any water that's in it, you can see kind of their breather is kind of steaming a little bit. Not smoke, but more steam than anything. I should probably run a fan next to it too, and that'll help. But that will be after lunch. I'm gonna run that chain a little bit. Let it get the hoppies out of it, and then I'll tighten it up. Apparently.